What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Muff. Hope everyone is having a good holiday. But today, I'm gonna hit y'all with my top 50 songs of 2023. So these were 50 tracks that I was rocking with heavy throughout the year. I know 50's a lot. It's really a daunting task, and I thought to myself, I'm just gonna hit you guys with 10 to 20 best songs of the year. But when I started to compile the list, I realized I was just impossible for me. Because once I start to put them in a playlist, I then, in my mind, turn into like DJ Clue or Tony Touch, and everything has to flow a certain way. Yeah. But with that being said, starting at number one, I have Shine On Me by Jeezy. To me, this was such a motivational track where Jeezy is dropping a lot of jewels and it's got an amazing sample. Yeah, I found myself playing this banger a lot, and it's definitely one of those tracks that make you feel that you could just accomplish your goal. Number two, I have Key Glock's Dirt. Now, this was my favorite song off Glaucoma 2. You have some really cool, confident bars from Glock and this moody soul sample. That's one of the best samples of the year. Yeah, this is the kind of track that I would play to pull up to really any destination with the volume at the highest level. For number three, I have Benny's lead single Big Dog with Lil Wayne, produced by The Alchemist. This was a hustler's anthem, you know, where Benny did his thing, but I think most would agree that Wayne had the MVP verse. And I noticed this might be the second Benny single in a row that was produced by The Alchemist where the featured guest just takes over. Love Benny, but that's definitely a thing. And number four, I have Nas-Japanese Soul Bar. This is a very elegant, classy, exquisite track from Nas and Hit that just had a timeless feel. Number five is Drake and J. Cole's first person shooter. Okay, so we can all agree that Drake got washed by Cole. And in fact, I almost wish I could have deleted Drake's second verse, but this was one of the most talked about tracks of the year. I did like the soul sample, and all in all, it's a banger. Number six, I have Sauce Walka's Dangerous Derringer featuring Conway. So this is what a lot of heads have wanted. Sauce Walka just snapping over a dusty Derringer sample, and Conway had a solid verse. Number seven, I have That Mexican OT's Johnny Dang featuring Paul Wall. To me, this is one of the coolest records of the year. Paul Wall had an excellent verse, and That Mexican OT showed his knack for making a catchy single. For number eight, I have Nas-Black Magic. So I almost threw in pistols on my album cover here, but I went with Black Magic because I was really a fan of that obscure Memphis sample. It was something different from the two, but it definitely worked. Number nine, I have Gucci's There I Go featuring J. Cole. So this song was all about J. Cole's verse, honestly, but Gucci, in fairness, he didn't sound half bad. And you gotta love the breezy up-tempo beat from Mike Will Made It. And number 10, I have The Alchemist and Hit Boy Slipping Into Darkness. So it was The Alchemist over a Hit beat and Hit over an Alchemist beat. And sonically, it was one of the most soothing tracks you will hear all year. Number 11, I have J.Stone-Numbers Lie Too. So I dug J.Stone's hungry delivery and the punchy soul sample. It's definitely had a mixtape banger feel. At number 12, I have DJ Premiers Runway featuring Rome Streetz and Westside Gunns. So I don't recall this one being talked about much at all, but I felt the scratching. It was classic Primo. Rome did his thing, and the string sections on this beat are pretty solid. For number 13, I have Westside Gunns Kitchen Lights featuring Stove God. And Stove God, of course, took over this track, and this has such a gorgeous classical music backdrop. It's just drug dealer chic personified. For number 14, I have Conway's Quarters. It was a track that had one of the Machine's dopest flows of the year. I just loved the pocket he was in, and I was also loving this crunchy beat from Crisis. I mean, can we get a little more Conway and Crisis in 2024? For number 15, I have Lloyd Banks' Convoy, and it's a late night murky banger with some of the illest quotables from Banks all year. Number 16 is Mickey Diamond's Wow, produced by Raul Duke. It's just a playful boom bap record that really taps into that mid-90s golden era sound. It's feel good and oozing in that nostalgia, plus I really dug what Mickey said, I'm too hood to be a backpacker. Number 17 is Brady Watts' Pistol Whip with Rome Streetz and 38 Spesh. What you have are two dope verses from these two gentlemen over this multi-layered instrumental from Brady Watts, who managed to cook up some very refreshing sounds this year. Number 18 is We Outside with Conway, Pharoah and Shay Noor. This had a very soulful, homegrown quality, and the song hook from Pharoah, it was top notch. Definitely would have liked a verse from him, but that hook went super hard. Number 19 is Shame by 2 Chainz and Wayne, and it's my favorite song off their collab. I really enjoyed the dusty soul sample from Havoc. This had that woo banger feel. Number 20 is Scientists and Engineers by Killer Mike, which is easily the best song off his fantastic album. I love the 3 Stacks verse, the space age production. It's just a super cool, unique track. For number 21, I have Nick Grant's Worrying About a Classic. So Nick Grant, he had put out a very underrated album this year, and this was one of the best songs from it. The bars, thought-provoking and clever, and I like the soulful strumming beat. Number 22, I have SASW's Switches and ARs featuring Freeway. And now, Philadelphia Freeway is one of the feature kings of all time. You could make that argument, I suppose. And I enjoyed hearing Freeway alongside SASW over these somber keys. Just a dope combo. Number 23, I have Dawn Tripp's Suicide Banger. Now, I talked about it in my rappers of the year. What an amazing 2023 Dawn Tripp had, and this was just an aggressive banger with some witty punchlines and metaphors from Tripp. For number 24, I have Westside Gunns Ultra Griselda with Denzel Curry. Now, I know a lot of y'all did not like this album, but I actually kind of liked it. And I felt this track really slapped. I enjoyed Denzel Curry's inclusion on this record. I feel his energy just made it pop. Okay, halfway point, y'all. At number 25, I have Big X to Plug's Badu Flow. So this is the Dallas rapper, Big X to Plug. He's going off over this smooth Erykah Badu sample. It's something laid back, but with that bounce. Number 26, I have AZ's How I Get It featuring Fat Joe. And this was a fly, low-key New York anthem produced by Buck Wild. It's easily the best song off AZ's Truth Be Told album. Number 27, I have Conway and Jay Skeez's The Chosen. You were getting the ill back and forth between the two over this triumphant brass production. It felt very Rockefeller inspired. Number 28, I have Nas's Irvin Magic Johnson, which was one of the hardest songs of the summer. I suppose I could have included Motion or Office Hours from that project as well, but I feel Irvin Magic Johnson, it did fit better with the vibe of the playlist. For number 29, I have Rome Streetz' Heartbreak Hotel. So you would have thought that this distorted beat came from Conductor Williams, but no, it actually came from Wavy the God. And I really dug Rome's reflective lyrics over his dreamy, warped production. For number 30, I have Elzhi's Bishop, produced by Oh No. And this was, in my opinion, the best song from the Elzhi Oh No album. You had cinematic storytelling over this jazzy mid-90s sounding instrumental from Oh No. Both knocked it out the park. Number 31, I have Paul Wall and Terminologies Talk About It. And it's a fun boom bap track set to a funky large pro instrumental. I mean, what's not to like? Number 32, I have El Camino's For the Streets. So we know El Camino is nice on the harmonizing tip, and this is one of my favorite wavy, syrupy tracks of the year. It's super catchy and play-alike, and the hook is pretty addicting. For number 33, I have Hus Kingpin's Rio de Janeiro, and it's a flat up-tempo track built around this classic breakbeat from Madlib. Yeah, it went under the radar, but definitely cool record. Number 34, I have Big X the Plugs Whip It. This was another catchy trill banger that has a very groovy disco sample, and Big X was rapping with his usual bold aggression. Number 35, I have Propane's Always Down featuring Freddie Gibbs and Devin the Dude. Now this track recently dropped from the Houston MC, but it's a smooth, soulful record about staying down, Devin on the hook, and solid verse from Gangsta Gibbs. At number 36, I have Sitting Ducks by Mick Jenkins featuring Benny. This has a neck-snapping, colorful beat, but it's still moody and good verses from the two. Number 37 is Historic by Static Selective featuring Ransom and AZ. So we had a regal jazzy instrumental from Static that is very fitting for these two East Coast dons. Slept on track for 2023. Number 38, I have Lucky 7 Space Invaders featuring Husk Kingpin. So some of you may have heard Lucky 7 from his work with Griselda members, but this is a quirky, futuristic boom bap record with a standout verse from Lucky, who definitely went off. Number 39, I have Asteroids by Rhapsody, produced by Hit Boy. So this one's a bar fest, just raw, insightful raps from Rhapsody over a classy boom bap production from Hit Boy. Another slept on gem for 2023. For number 40, I have DJ Muggs' Joker's Wow featuring CeeLo Green. Now this was a very different track from Muggs' Soul Assassins 3 that stood out. I like the somber keys, which did remind me of a bit of a continuation of what Muggs and Goody Mob had cooked up back in '97. And of course, the conceptual verses from CeeLo, who painted a picture of Mexican-American gang life. For number 41, I have Ransom and King Crooked's Enemy of the State. Now, this was one of the stellar tracks from Ransom's Director's Cut 4. It had these icy cinematic strings. It also had one of King Crooked's dopest verses of the year. Number 42, I have Estee Nack's Angel Dior. And this was an off-kilter boom bap banger from that Nacksaw Jim Duggan record. It had the most replay value from that project. Now the hook from Knack, it was quirky but ear-grabbing, and the production was hypnotic, and it just went hard. For number 43, I have Rome Streetz' Fire at Your Idle Mind featuring Joey Badass. Now this is one of the most angry, intense, startling tracks of 2023. I enjoyed the gritty instrumental, and of course Rome's urgent vocals. Now, I'm not condoning violence in the slightest, but if violence had to be committed, this song would probably be in the background. Number 44, I have The Secret Recipe by Lil Yachty and J. Cole. Now, of course, I did not choose this song because of Lil Yachty, but I liked it for Cole's verse, obviously, which was one of the most praised features of 2023. At number 45, I have Turn Your Click Up by Quavo and Future. Now, as far as wavy trap ballads go, this one was the most memorable. It's just a cool melodic vibe where Quavo and Future, they're in their element. For 46, I have Bone Crusher by Maxo Cream and Key Glock. So this was an icy, belligerent banger, plain and simple. You have fun flows from Maxo and a solid verse from Glock. For number 47, I have Palisades, California by Larry June, The Alchemist, and Big Sean. Now, I just love the ethereal, bouncy Uncle Al beats, and Big Sean had one of his more standout verses in recent memory. At number 48, I have J-Rock and Absol's Blowfly, where we got streetwise lyricism over this dreamy faraway sample. It was a sample that you could get lost in. And as a result, it's one of the stronger West Coast songs in my opinion. Number 49, I have J-Ski's Bonneville. Now, this is one of the more underrated underground singles. I really dug J-Ski's wild delivery, the crunchy drums, and that Fuji's How Many Mic sample. And finally, to close this out at number 50, I have DJ Premier's In Most Speculation featuring Common. That is, I believe, from his Beats That Collected Dust series. So we had this ultra smooth twinkling soundscape from Primo and these nostalgic witty lines from Common. Yeah, this one was just dripping in that golden era sheen. So those are my top 50 of the year. Guys, please drop your top 10, 20, or 50 if you want to. And I already know you guys are going to impress me with some stuff that I never heard of, but I definitely look forward to hearing what your top songs are from this year. But it's your boy Mixtape Month. I'm signing out. As always, it's peace and blessings.